What's going on, Call of Duty fans, and welcome to episode 7 of Around the CDL. And this is our first ever live episode. So there are people right now in YouTube chat live with us as we record this. And we're going to be breaking down Major 1, doing a little bit of power rankings, but we're also going to be interacting with chat. So if you want to see more of this in the future, definitely let us know. If you're here in chat, we appreciate you. If you're watching this in post on YouTube or listening on Spotify, we appreciate you just as much. But as always, Alex, Preston, boys, how are we feeling?
Yo, what's up? Feeling good, man. Feeling good. Fun weekend. Fun weekend. Lots of good COD was played. Lots of bad COD was played. But today, it's only right. I think we gotta talk about the boy Doug, man. Doug going out, man. Calling it a career. Shout out that guy. One of the most passionate people I've seen in the scene. That guy just refused to stop. That's a character. That's a trait that you just can't teach. That's an unteachable trait. The will and want to constantly make yourself better. Shout out that guy. That guy has brought up a ton of the AMs that we've seen in the league today. Took him under his wings. So shout out that guy. Called it a career today.
Yeah, honestly, I'm not gonna lie. Doug really irritated me a lot. Like during
damn, all right.
like
Doug, damn.
I didn't know we were going like that.
Hold on. He really irritated me like during like Cold War and during like Vanguard and stuff like that. But now Doug is cool. Like I gotta tip it to him. The amount of motivation and the amount of confidence he had in himself, I gotta tip it. Like my guy, he had all the confidence in the world. He, gotta tip it to him. He had a great career.
Absolutely.
I mean, he loves COD. I mean, chose COD over a lot of things that people are still flaming him till this day. But if you love something and you truly are passionate about it, you gotta do it every day. And shout out to him.
Yeah, man. I gotta say, I never thought Doug was gonna give it up. The dude is passionate as anybody you can ever see. I honestly think it came down to, like, low key, I think he's more passionate about breaking this world record than he was about COD at this point in time, and that's why he hung it up. I mean, he said it a lot if you watched his video about how, like, he felt like he was kind of holding the team back because he was really going hard at this pull-up record. So, like, at the end of the day, it's not that he lost the passion. It's just that something else, stole his eyes, stole that love. And that's cool, man. That's cool. You're eventually gonna find something else you like more. So, I mean, shout out to Doug. Underrated career because we haven't seen him on the pro level in a while, but I think he has 4 majors. He was like 4 for 5 in finals. He beat Optic. He beat, I think, Complexity in the finals. So, I mean, at the end of the day, Doug had a low key, but a good career. And he's one of the most known faces in COD Esports and probably will stay that way. So major shout out to that guy, man. I mean, a huge shout out.
I mean, he brought up Cramp, he brought up Snoopy, he brought up Ghosty, like some of these names that we all know. This guy brought up and took him under his wing, and he might not have been the most talented player on the team, but the guy definitely had a knack for winning, and you can't knock championships, man. Even if they were a while ago, championships is nothing to throw to the side, man. That's more than some people today. So
yeah. Chips for chips, and you can't discredit him no matter how long ago they were. Even just like in traditional sports, you can't discredit all the legends that paved the path for all the newcomers that are here today. So shout out to Doug, and also shout out to Doug for giving us one of the funniest moments ever when Foremost said 7. 7?
Dude,
that's got to be
Doug,
one
man.
of the.
Or when he tried a hamburger for the first time. You ever see that video?
Yeah.
Oh, it's a classic. It's a classic.
Absolute classic.
Man. But yeah, I think what we should do first here is we do the power rankings for the teams, because I'm sure we're going to chat a lot about Major 1 with chat. So I figured let's do the power rankings, get the juices flowing, get the, maybe the hot takes or the cold takes out there, and then we can start getting in there with chat, breaking down the Major and talking about that stuff. Surely people won't overreact to this, Flashy says in chat. I cannot wait to see. So let me pull this up. Now we are live, so I'm praying that this all works properly. So I'm going to switch this over, chat. The tier list is on screen. This is our tier list from the last time we did it. So before the major, and boy, was this not right. But yes, so let's talk about it. I'm gonna move all the teams up to the top level just so I can get them out of the way, and we'll work our way down from 12 to 11. Who wants to start first? Who do we have as a number 12 team?
NYSL. Now I'm playing.
Who do we have as 12 team weeks ago? Curious. Before Major.
Oh, well, I just moved everything.
I think it was.
I
Was it
believe
LAT?
it was Legion. I believe
think
it was Legion, Ravens, LAT, bottom 3. Listen, I'll say it. It's LA Thieves.
Yeah,
I'll
it's gotta
say
be
it.
LAT.
Listen,
It's gotta be LAT.
as the resident LAT fan, I will be the first one to say it. But we're gonna see a different team, Major too. So we might be talking diffy about LAT in a couple weeks.
This guy is loving it right now.
Dude, listen, at the end of the day, as much as I wanted to see them succeed, it was better that they got out top 12 than maybe finish top 8. And then we start talking about maybe they stick together. Maybe they can work it out. We have one hard point win, for Christ's sake. Just blow it up.
Not good.
Blow it up. You know, I don't know who you want to get rid of. Afro Cammy, Joe Deceives, the whole team. I think at least keep Ghosty. Maybe you keep one of the subs, but at the end of the day, I think they have to be 12.
Just
Yeah, I
bring
think
in
that's
FaZe Black at this point.
Nah. You cannot get rid of Dan, man. That dude was cooking. That dude has been cooking practically all year. Cammy had one good series where we're like, oh, Cammy's back, and guess what? No, he's not.
And we barely beat Ravens.
I tweeted it. The guy turned up, and then guess what? Went right back down to earth.
What were you doing, bro? Why aren't you tweeting it on LAN? We needed that mojo.
Right back down to earth. Exactly. So the guy just said giant middle finger to me, I guess. But I mean, Cammy's back to the Cammy that we've known. The only one that's shooting back is Dan. Dan's got to stay. Dan has to stay.
I genuinely think Cammy needs some. What did he have to do during Cold War?
The training, because he said
sensitivity training.
Yeah, he needs some of that right now because honestly, it's looking rough for my guy. I mean, like I said, he hasn't looked like the Cammy we know that can play since Cold War. I mean, in Cold War he was absolutely disgusting, but yeah, something needs to change with that lat roster. But I digress. I think we all agree LAG is 12. I mean, LA Thieves is 12.
Yeah. Yep. Not much of a surprise. I'm not going to lie to you. The rest of this, I think, is going to be hard. Because we had Legion Ravens as the bottom 2 last time for the major. Both of those teams won a series on LAN. Both of them, Legion 3-0'd Miami, and Ravens 3-1 or 3-1 New York. So I don't honestly know off the top of my head who I want to go 11 here.
Let me ask you a question.
Let's hear it.
Is this post specifically major power rankings, or is this like heading into major too?
This is all encompassing on the season.
Okay, then I think Vegas is still 11. They won a series and they beat Heretics, but you get reverse sweep by LAG the series after
for the third time this year. By the way,
that to me is pathetic. You've been reverse swept 3 times this season already. You cannot go up 2 maps to none and not win another map for the rest of the series. 1 time, okay, sure. Twice, unacceptable. 3 times is almost unheard of. In a matter of 8 series, 9 series, that's pathetic. So the only reason they're not 12 is because LET has not looked good at all, or they would be 12 to me. So
what was Standy doing? My guy was trying to assassinate on main stage.
Dude, that was funny.
Dude, like after that, it was over for them. My guy.
It sucks because they showed signs, right? I'm like, oh my god, wait, Vegas look okay on land. Standy was shooting. Nero was back to the Nero that we saw on Boston. I'm like, okay, maybe this guy just needed a land buff. And then they get reverse swept by LAG. I'm like, wow, these guys might make a run for top 6. They might be the dark horse. And then everything just fell apart. It was looking so good for him. It was literally looking so good for him, and then it went back to online Legion. It can't happen, and I think they rightfully deserve to be an 11.
I agree.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, Purge seems like a nice kid. I feel like he definitely shows potential, but I think a 1-for-1 swap Purge for someone else who's just more consistent in respawn, this team competes for top 6. I mean, he set a record. He had a .46, and they swept Miami. I mean, imagine, and to be fair, he played good in their second series, even though they lost. But imagine what that team looks like with someone who puts up a .9.
No, true.
That's actually crazy. He got 9 kills the first map.
Dude, it was just insane. I think he had more kills map 1 in the first series than he did like almost the entire series in the first one. I think he ended with like 22 in map 1 in the second series. And he had 23 total in the first one.
That's absolutely
But
hilarious.
whatever. We can move on to number 10.
I think I still go Ravens, honestly.
I do too.
Yes, they beat NYSL.
The only thing that I want to say is, do we think Ravens are over Boston?
Oh.
I think
Wow.
Boston is the other team that really kind of like put the kink in this.
No, that's a good shout. Yeah, Boston should go 10. That's a good shout. That is a good shout.
I honestly forgot about them because
Me too. Me too.
I caught it. I said they're going out of top 12 at their own major, and boom, Surge did it to him. I said in our last podcast, I trust Surge's S&D more than I do Boston's, and I said if it goes game 5,
you did say it, man. You called it.
And what happened? When game 5, Surge won, but Boston is just.
Yeah, I think for me, like, it comes down to, obviously, Ravens won a series on LAN and Boston didn't. But also, we've only seen this Ravens team for a week or something like that. So if you pretend like that God RX Ravens team didn't exist, this current Ravens team looks better than 10. At least better than Boston, in my opinion. So that's kind of, if this was the God RX Ravens team, maybe you could say them 10 and Boston 9 kind of deal. But I think also the way Fellow looked on LAN, shout out to him. Homie is a Lanimal, I guess. I just think
that's a Siege too.
Yeah.
He's turned up as well.
Yeah. But so I think Boston 10 is fair. I think it makes sense.
Yeah, no, it's definitely fair. I forgot about them. They only played one series, which a lot of people might think is unfair. But Ravens did it. They beat NYSL. Other teams did it and they won. And at the same time, they played a team from losers who got absolutely mollywopped the day prior. And I'm sitting there thinking, there's no way Boston lose this. Home major, Surge just got smoked. Toronto Ultra beat them in 20 minutes. And then they go and lose the series. No, these guys, it was a super forgettable series because Boston has not looked good. And it's really disappointing because I had a lot of hope in this team. I thought this team would be consistent in the top 6. I thought this team would take some series off of the top 4. They're the only team that have beaten Ultra so far. And other than that, they have not looked good at all. They've not looked good at all. They've given LAT their only hardpoint win this year. So they literally deserve to be 10.
Shout out Clay, man.
Honestly, I genuinely thought my pick'ems were chalked after that first map where Boston won against Seattle. Because literally everyone on Seattle went negative and everyone on Boston went positive, and I was like, oh yeah. I was like, I know I picked Surge, but Boston's about to blow them out. I just think they just let Seattle get too hot too quickly.
Yeah. So I think that's fair. And I'm guessing that means we have Ravens 9 probably right above Boston.
Most likely.
If I can get him there. Oh my God, this thing doesn't want to work. There we go. Slid him in there.
I mean, Rick, I see that, that Surge broke GAs and stuff like that.
Yeah, dude, Surge might need their own tier at the bottom, just like disqualified.
But
they just don't care.
Yeah, at this point, like they're gonna go. I think Jake's tweeted this out that they're literally gonna go the whole season without getting a scrim.
Dude, I think I don't know this for 100% fact. I think they've broken GAs in 50% of their series so far. I think they've broken it 5 times and they've played 10 series. So, and there might be even more single tap cheese that we can't exactly tell. So, listen, man, it's just not a good look. It's just not a good look. It takes away from like the little bit of a run they were able to make, in my opinion.
Not that it takes away from it, but it takes away from the integrity, and it shows like it almost shows like you're afraid to play on an even ground. Like, it feels like you want to play with a leg up, which is kind of pathetic. But I mean, you know what? They won a bunch of S&Ds, so good for them, I guess. Their respawn looks pathetic, but they won a bunch of S&Ds, so good for those guys.
Yeah. All right. So now let's talk about 8. Getting into our top 8 here.
This is where it gets rough.
This is where it gets rough because we're looking at a team like LAG, maybe a team like Seattle, maybe Miami, possibly. I wouldn't want to put New York down here, I don't think, but I guess you can make an argument.
See, Miami and New York have been too good online. I know they had a bad LAN stand, but they've been too good online for me to put them 7-8. 5-6 maybe, but 7-8 might be a little too low. I just don't think LAG deserve to be an 8. I mean, they've showed some promise online, and then they go top 6 on LAN. I think LAG deserve to be minimum 7. Maybe I'd consider putting.
Oh, this is rough. Should we fill out the top first and then just worry about the
Yeah, we can start with the top.
Okay,
All right.
yeah,
So
I'm down.
So Ultra R1, Phaser 2, Optic
Yes.
R3.
No doubt.
Yeah,
no doubt about that.
Yeah, that's got to be locked in.
Just-
Anybody
and
argue
why-
with a brick wall?
Yeah, that's definitely it. And for everyone who maybe doesn't watch our podcast all the time, I know we're on a tier list, but this is not tiers. They are numbers. This is just the easiest and most visual way for us to put it on the screen. So this is in order, like from 12 to 1 or 1 to 12, however you want to say it. So it's not actually tiers. It's just more visually appealing and easier for us to slide stuff around, or easier for me since I'm the one doing it.
Yeah.
Even though
yeah.
NYSL went out top 12, we know they can be a lot better.
Of course.
And if we're going, and as you said, we're going off the whole season, not just this major. I still have NYSL at 4. Yes, they lost to Ravens. Yes, they went out top 12, but they were absolutely disgusting online. There's no way I see NYSL going out, less than top 6 maybe at any other major than this. I think Paco's too good. Skies is too good. Kismet's gonna be the dirty dog and do whatever he needs to do. And Sib is too good. Like, there's just no way Sib goes crazy like the last few matches that NYSL plays, and then drops a stinker the only match they play. Like, COD is a day-to-day thing.
Mm-hmm.
Some days you have it. Some days, you're shooting absolutely straight. Some days you're not. COD is a day-to-day thing. I still think NYSL is 4. I still think they're a lot better than the other teams that are on this list. And yeah, pretty simple, honestly. I saw Preston kind of give that face, so I want to see that.
Let's hear it, Preston.
I think you're giving them a little too much credit, right? You can't go 6-1 online and then go 1-12, 1-6 map count on LAN. It can't happen. Do I think that they fall out of the top 6? Absolutely not. I think they're 5. I think Minnesota has looked way more promising to me than New York has over the last X amount of weeks, 3-4 weeks. Not only have they looked more promising to me, but Minnesota just beat them on LAN to start the tournament. 3-0, smoked. I think it's a down service to put NY over Minnesota at this current point. But I can see your point because of who that team is consisted of, those players, their talent, what they can bring to the table. They just didn't. And I don't think it would be right for Minnesota to be below them when I am thinking right now, in this current time, I would take Minnesota over New York.
What do you think, Jake? You're that deciding factor.
I think it's definitely tough. I think either argument makes sense. Obviously it's a one-off for New York. I do not think they're going to be this bad all year. I think they're a great team with talent. I think they just need the LA Thieves Vanguard treatment. You rock it in the beginning of the year, take it off the chin, you figure it out because you got hella talent on that team. I think I side with Preston here because Rocker did beat them on LAN. I think, right, they were the ones who beat them, right? We're not faded on that.
Yeah, it was a 3-0.
Yeah. I'm just making sure I'm not getting
It was a triple reset cheese that everyone was
complaining
about, but
that was annoying. But I think because they beat them on LAN, I think I give them the edge. I think
Yeah,
we
fair
know
enough,
that
fair
like
enough.
by the end of the year or even Major 2, New York's probably the better team. But Minnesota beat them on land. They swept them, to be fair.
yeah.
So I think I got to go Rocker 4.
Okay,
It's
okay. So see, so with that, I will say, so if it's because everything y'all are saying is just off the major. When at the beginning we said we're gonna go off the whole season.
no, I'm going current form.
Well, I
I
mean, I'm taking everything encompassing. Obviously, New York were a bit better online, but like we saw Rocker not only beat New York on land, but win a couple series on land, whereas New York lost 2 series to teams they should be better than. So like all encompassing on the year, I still think I have Rocker over them.
I also do because they're like almost two polar opposites, right? New York start out 5-0 and lose 3 out of their last 4. Minnesota start off 0-4 and win 6 out of their next 8 or whatever it was, 5 out of their next 7. So in current form, throughout the season, I mean the season's going to progress, but as we're progressively speaking, Minnesota has been the better team over the last couple of weeks. Um, Obviously the major is taking a big part of that, right? Because that's what just happened. But even towards the end of the play-in matches, I mean, or the online matches, Minnesota looked good. They clinched. Everyone had them locked into losers, and then they went like 3-0, absolutely smoking everybody. And then they come out and they look good at the major, get top 4. So,
Who did
like I said,
Rocker?
it's not like super far off. I'm not I know NYSL had a bad weekend. It's going to happen, and I don't think NYSL will have that bad of a weekend ever again. I'm not sending them down to the bottom of the barrel because they get smoked on the weekend. That's not what I'm doing. I think it will be a major disservice to have NYSL higher ranked than Minnesota right now.
Yeah, I see some people in chat are a little bit confused, so I'll try to explain it. It's looking at the entirety of Major 1 and the online qualifiers. Obviously, it's going to skew a little bit towards recency because we've been doing these power rankings every single week. So every week it adjusts based on what just happened. Especially with it being a major and on LAN, it obviously weighs a little bit more than a week of 2 or 3 online matches or however many they might play in a weekend. So and this is also if this is Major 3 and Minnesota beats NYSL on land, but NYSL has been by far better all year, that doesn't automatically put Minnesota over them because you look at the entire season. If Minnesota's 8 seed and New York's 4 seed and they beat them on land in Major 3, that doesn't mean they immediately jump up. So there obviously is going to be a little bit of recency because we just saw the major, but I'm trying my best to look at the entire season. And if you look at the whole season, Minnesota was like 3-4 coming to the major, where NYSL was what, 5-2,
6-1.
6-1. Okay, so they were pretty good to be fair. But they lost 2 on land, where Minnesota won 3. How many did they win on land? 3.
1-1 lost one, 1-1 lost one. They were 2-2 on land.
2-2. I think it's close. I think if you, no matter which way you put this, I think you're right. In my
I,
opinion.
I just want everyone to take a second to let's break down NYSL's online matches. They beat Optic in a game fine round 11. First day of the season. Okay, congratulations, good series win. Almost lost to LAG, who they should smoke. Okay, there you go. Then you go, they get a couple wins in between. Cool, they should beat the teams that they beat. Good for them. They play a Toronto team. Toronto slams them. Literally slammed them. Toronto slammed FaZe twice this event, but that was slammage. Literal slammage. Even worse than the FaZe slammage. And then they go, and who do they play after they get slammed? They play Boston, who we have at 10th, and it was like game 5, round 10, and it could have been 11 if Snoopy didn't fall off the map. These guys have not been impressive in their last 4 matches. They get slammed by Toronto, almost lose to a struggling Boston, and then lose 2 in LAN. They should be realistically 0-4 in their last 4 matches. I just, they have not been impressive to me whatsoever over the last 2 weeks.
Alex, you got any like stats for us over there? I saw you were like Googling or something.
No, I was just looking at Rocker split. So I mean, yeah, they beat NYSL, or they beat New York 3-0. They got smoked by Toronto. They took LAG to game 5, and then Optic beat them 3-1. So their major, I mean, I guess the most impressive one was just that 3-0 for NYSL. But then again, they get smoked by Toronto, they get smoked by us, and they take LAG to game 5. So they're like, it's also not impressing me as well, I guess, is what you could say.
Yeah.
They're like, I guess the more that we're talking about this, they sound pretty even. But I just think recency bias probably should put Minnesota over them. They're like 4A and 4B. How's that sound? Forget the 5. We'll go 4A, 4B.
I mean, I'm down to put them at 5. If if we're gonna have a little bit of recency bias with the major, because again, yes, they did lose because yes, NYSL lost to Rocker and then got absolutely slammed by the Ravens, who they should not have lost to in the first place. But I'm down to put NYSL at 5.
Okay.
Yeah,
we'll rock with that for
now. I mean,
now.
it's close. Yeah.
I also think part of my thought process too is we're debating this and we haven't talked about Miami yet, which means Miami falls farther. And Miami had the same outcome as New York. They were top 4 coming into the event. I mean, Miami also didn't win a map on land, to be fair. New York won 1, I guess, if we want to think that's that much more of a positive. And they had 1 more loss online. So, like, if we're going to talk about Miami falling to 6 or 7, I don't think it's crazy to say Miami goes to 5. Or not Miami, New York.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, either way, we'll work with this for now. If we decide we want to change our minds, we always can. It's not officially locked in. But now we're looking at 6, 7, and 8, and we have LAG, Surge, and Miami left.
Yeah, with those 3 teams, I mean, it sucks because I think they had a pretty good tournament. They probably should have been top 4 over Minnesota. They kind of threw their series away. But they reverse swept Legion, so they showed some ice there. But I think LAG could probably go 8 there. It sucks because it feels like that's a little low for them. Because I was impressed with them this tournament, but series-wise, I think that puts them like maybe 4 and 8, 4 and 9 on the year or something. Really have. I think 8's good for LAG.
Alex, how we feeling? My lip.
I don't know. Just the fact that Miami was going crazy the last week of the qualifier and they got 6-0 out of the major. That's kind of crazy.
Wait a minute. Wait a second. Wait. Hold on. Let me make sure I got that right. Say that one more time.
They got 6-0 out of the major. 3-0
yeah, no, but is that not what practically happened to NYSL? And we were just saying they're the 4th best?
Yeah, but I think I expected more. Or I don't want to say I expected more, but it's just Miami. I didn't expect them to get to Sunday, honestly, at all. I think I expected NYSL to get to Sunday is the main thing. It's just like Miami lost to Vegas, who we have 12.
We have 11, but yeah.
Oh, yeah, 11. But before that, we had them 12. And they lost 3-0. And it was, I mean, in my opinion, I have Miami at 8.
I see what you're saying. I think you're basically just saying you think New York are just a better team than Miami, which is why you'd have Miami falling farther than them. Which obviously I agree with that. All the way to 8, though? You really think? All the way to 8?
Down to 8.
I mean,
we just had them in 4.
They did beat Optic on 3-0 over the weekend before the major, and we have Optic in 3.
And then Optic beat them 3-0. And then
okay, so maybe it cancels. Maybe it cancels.
So I mean,
wait. So you're taking You're taking LAG over Heretics
right now, yeah. Personally, they beat Vegas.
I know you're taking Surge over Heretics, but you're biased. Of course, you're taking Surge over Heretics.
I mean, it could be pitter patter, but honestly, like how you said, these 3 teams, you could throw NYSL and Rocker in as well. These 5 teams right now, they're a little like you could literally place them anywhere and you wouldn't be wrong.
It's hard because you got teams that are supposed to be good that underachieved and teams that aren't supposed to be that good that overachieved. So it makes it for a really mixy middle portion. I'm trying to think. Like, I think if I had to pick personally, I think I would go LAG 6, Miami 7, Surge 8. I think is what I might go. LAG reverse swept Legion, who swept Miami on LAN. If you want to go off direct matchups, which isn't always the best way to go about it. Surge broke a lot of GAs, so I kind of want to just dock him a point or two.
Yeah, honestly, like Surge. Yeah, Surge is.
Were you that impressed with Surge this weekend, Alex?
Hell no, I wasn't. They went to.
They were a bit icy.
Aside from their SMD, they looked so unbelievably average.
They went to Game 5 with Boston. They went to Game 5 with Carolina. They went to who else they played? They went to Game 5. Oh no! And then after that, they lost to us.
They got smoked. They got smoked by. They got smoked by Ultra.
Mm-hmm. And then Game 5.
Barely beat a Boston. Barely beat a Carolina, and then kind of got slammed by Optic practically.
I think I think I give Heretics the edge over Surge.
I do too.
Okay, I can see that. Because honestly, if Surge doesn't win, if Surge isn't as good as their S&D is, they'd probably be a lot lower. Honestly, it's their search and D, it's their S&D is what's keeping them alive. Because again, they went to Game 5 with Ravens, who we have a lot lower, and to Boston, who we have a lot lower.
Yeah, I think Surge are one move away from being really good.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Their S&D is unbelievable. FaZe has had besides Ultra just freaking slamming them. FaZe had only had one S&D loss the entire year before running into Ultra twice, and it was Surge. So that's a testament to how good their S&D is. But that's really the only thing that they're good at right now, which is okay because, like you see, it'll get them far in tournaments, at least far enough. If they can get into that Game 5, if your S&D is that good, chances are, out of 3 tries, you're going to be able to win 1 respawn. Chances are. I'll take those odds 6 out of 10 times that a team with those players can win 1 respawn in a series and then win Game 5. We saw it twice. But when you play the bigger teams where maybe winning those respawns doesn't happen as often, we saw it versus Optic. They lost all 3 respawns. And none of them were particularly close. They didn't even win the S&D versus Toronto. As soon as they lost that S&D, that series was over. So it goes like we just went back to it, right? We can't be too recency biased with the major. I just, in terms of the entire year, I think that they deserve to be at 8. Because
Rick said if Surge doesn't have S&D, they are just another LAT. Sorry, Jake.
That's messed up, Rick. Come on, man. Come on, Rick. You crazy, dude. Rick, he roasts LAT like every couple hours on the watch party. He just randomly would roast us, and I'm like, brother, I respect it though. We kind of deserve it. Not kind of. We do deserve it. We really do.
So
it's kind of valid.
Zafty brings up a valid point. Surge has been blacklisted from scrims, but still came 6th.
Okay, that's a valid point. But I'm not giving any petty points for being blacklisted because they did that to themselves. So you get 0 petty points from me. They came top 6. They did it to themselves. That you get 0 plus points for me on the tier list for being blacklisted. You wouldn't have been blacklisted if you just listened to what everybody else said and played by the rules that everybody else are. I'm sorry.
Hold on. Someone just said BZ is the weakest point on FaZe.
Whoa, who?
I mean, this season they're not wrong, right? Abeezy's definitely been the worst.
Worst by what? By what means, though?
If you're just looking at overall impact, I think we're saying, like, in terms of damage and kills, it's Abeezy. But he's not. I'm not saying he's bad. I'm not saying he's bad. Obviously, he's amazing. They come second place all the time.
Let me ask you. Let me ask whoever that is. It's hard for me to look at my phone. I don't want to look down. But
Nick Johnson.
Okay, Nick. Let me ask you this question: why do you think they're so good at S&D? You're gonna look at it and you're gonna see Cell is absolutely frying in S&D, and he is, and he's slamming everybody right now. Cell, it looks unbelievable. But why do you think he's able to do what he does? There's one guy that puts pressure on the map nonstop. There's one guy that goes into every single gunfight first. There's one guy that carries the smoke.
Yeah, I like making faces.
This guy is putting pressure on the map and putting his team in the best position possible. He might be the weakest on the team Stats wise, sure. I don't even know his stats. I would struggle to even believe that, to be honest. But in terms of impact, right now, maybe he got slammed in the grand finals versus Toronto. I would believe that because they all kind of did. But in terms of impact, Abisi is one of the most impactful, if not the most impactful player in the league. That team is that guy is pushing pace. That guy is unbelievable.
Wait,
Go ahead. What is it bad?
I have an even more faded take.
I see what he's gonna
This
say.
can't be good. This can't be good.
Dude, look at Rick's
FaZe
profile picture.
isn't
Oh, wait.
good at
Talking about
S&D.
Loesch.
Are you telling me the team that is 12-4 in S&D is not good at S&D?
Nah, FaZe is good at SMD.
No,
They're just not better than Toronto.
Ultra and FaZe. That's literally it.
No, Rick. I said MC was slamming, not got slammed. If I said MC got slammed, I would not deserve to be on this podcast.
But yeah, FaZe is very good at S&D. They're not better than Toronto, but they're still very good at S&D. So that is definitely a faded take, my guy.
All right. Wait. Let's finish the rankings real quick.
Yeah, wait. We kind
and then we can talk to chat
that's
because
fine,
I think that makes sense.
So what are we doing? We doing 8?
We have Surge 8, so it's between Miami and LAG.
All right, then put Heretic 7 and put LAG 6. I'm good with that. I think LAG deserves to be around that 6 anyways.
Alex, how do we feel?
So hold on. What did you say, Preston?
LAG 6, Heretic 7.
Yeah.
I'm good with that.
Good with that? We're good with that?
Yeah, that's good.
All right. So let me recap it for you. Ultra 1, big space there. FaZe second.
Very big.
Obviously.
Very big.
Big
Let's
space
make
there.
that clear.
Yeah.
Let's make that clear.
And then space there too.
Yes,
Optic third.
Space there too. Yes.
And then space there.
And then space there, Minnesota.
And then we got New York 5.
And LA,
Then very tiny, almost the same line.
Yeah,
New York 5, LAG 6, Miami 7, Surge 8, Ravens 9, Boston 10, Legion 11, Thieves 12.
You know what? Can I put my input in one thing?
I mean, we're not going to stop you, right?
All right. Can we switch Boston and Legion?
You think Boston should be 11?
I do. I think Boston should be 11. I am so unbelievably disappointed with that team. That team should be nowhere near the bottom of the barrel. And even though Legion has been reverse flipped 3 times, they're at least winning maps, right? Boston, I mean, they lost the game 5 to Surge, sure, but you have, I don't know, maybe I'm overthinking it. I just think I'm just more disappointed in Boston than I am with Legion. I didn't really have any expectations for Legion. I didn't really have much expectation for Boston, but I had much more than they're showing me. I would argue right now that Boston's probably a worse team than Legion. I would.
I can agree with that.
All right. I mean, hey,
then,
we can switch
it. I do want to point this out. Simpson said it. Also, Optic at 3, that's wild. And then he proceeded to say, Optic got picked apart and demolished by FaZe, which is why we have FaZe at 2 and Optic at 3. I don't think that's much of discussion. We know FaZe absolutely slammed us. Toronto absolutely slammed them, which is why we say we have Toronto, and there's a very big gap, and then FaZe, and then there's another big gap, and then Optic, and then another big gap.
They corrected and said by a demolished FaZe, as in FaZe wasn't good and Optic still lost. I mean, either way, Optic has to be 3. I mean, who can you put over them? Optic was 5 coming into the major on our list. NYSL and Heretics, who were 3 and 4, fell, obviously. You're not going to put Rocker over them. Optic beat Rocker at the major. There is no one you can put over Optic, in my opinion. Like Optic, I think Ultra FaZe Optic are 1, 2, 3 pretty definitively right now.
Who would you even consider putting up there? Maybe at some weird off the wall take based on, like, I guess if you want to bring last year into it, NYSL. That's about the only thing, and that's even like the wildest consideration ever, considering what we've seen. Okay,
so I kind of want to hear chats because I'm seeing that Optic at 3 is wild. So who should go at 3 then if it's not Optic?
Yeah,
are we saying Optic at 3 is wild as in like they should be lower or Optic should be 2? Because either way, you're faded. I mean, I think Optic is a clear, solid. I think the top 3 are solidified. I don't understand.
Again, I
Where
want to
should
hear
Optic be?
stats. Because again, as a very big Optic quote unquote fanboy, Optic is very clearly 3. They're not 2 because FaZe is there and they absolutely smacked us, and Ultra is very clearly at 1. And after that, it's NYSL and Rocker if we want to go that way.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even think there's really much of an argument, to be honest.
Whoa! I'm saying Optic should be at 1.
Nah,
Like,
Loesch is trolling, bro. Loesch does this.
That's great gas, but
nah,
Yeah,
if we were to go
Loesch likes
against
to troll.
Optic,
okay,
if
all
we
right,
were to go against
we're
Optic,
trolling. Okay,
All right,
dude, I thought we were being serious. I'm like, what are we talking about?
I think this list is solid. Of course, the 5 through 8 I think can be debated, and maybe do we want to move Boston and Legion? We can swap them, but I don't think
Nah, I
anything in
mean,
here is out of this world.
it's up to you guys. I mean, that's just me, I guess, on a level of disappointment. Personally, based on rosters, I would 100% take the Boston roster over the Legion roster. I'd be fated not to. I think that Boston roster has some serious talent on it. I just right now, I don't know what the problem is with Boston. I can tell you right now that what the problem is with Legion. I mean, I don't want to harp on the kid, but he hasn't been keeping up his own. I think if you replace that, Legion are a lot better. I don't know personally who to replace on that Boston team. My answer, like inside my heart, would be 0. None of them. Let them stick it out and see if they can figure it out, because I think that team should work. But I think that if you take a 1-for-1 trade right now, that Legion would be a better team than Boston based on what we showed. But it's just me. It's up to you guys. It doesn't really matter. 10-11. Who really cares? To be honest.
Nick said Purge plays with his monitor off.
I mean, that one series it might have been.
Okay, wait, hold on, because I'm seeing some people saying that Boston is over Legion and over Ravens. Can Austin and who else said that? And Zafty, can y'all explain why y'all have Boston over Legion and Ravens?
Boston over Ravens. Legion, okay, sure. Ravens.
Talent.
I
mean, if we're saying based on rosters on paper, I agree. I don't know if they were
too.
here for when we went through this part. We basically just said that this newer Ravens team has been pretty good since they dropped God RX, and that was kind of our thought process for having them at 9 over Boston.
Talent's fair. If we're basing it on talent, I would take them too. But I don't think a tier list should be based on talent. It's got to be on how they're performing. A team could have all the talent in the world and not perform. Look at Optic in World War II. I mean, you have 4 of the best Slayers on your team, and you guys don't even make it out of bracket play. I mean, it's got to be on performance, not talent.
I see Zafty's point. He's looking very hindsight. He's looking a lot towards the future. But I think we're just basing it off right now. Just completely off right now, off of what's happened up to this point in the season, not about what's going to happen in the future. Because a lot of things can change. You know, we know that after this next patch, the game is going to be completely different. Starting in
when they practice.
Yeah, basically, it's a completely different game. New spawns, new rotations. So it's going to be completely different. But I think just up to now,
Absolutely.
Honestly, I still have Ravens over Boston, and I can see the argument for Legion over Boston as well. But
I can too.
But I think the list that we have right now,
keep the list. I was overthinking.
I think we keep it. I think we keep it. I think there's an argument to be made, but who cares? 10, 11, you're ass anyway.
Yeah, valid.
Oh, sorry, Boston. Sorry, Legion.
It's like 4 equals 5, 10 equals 11. Who cares?
All right. So we're gonna rock with this as our list. Let me switch our cans back over to these main things. I want to talk about this in chat. We might have a little bit of intel here. Zed said on stream Boston will not be making a roster change. Obviously, Zed, coach of Boston, for those who do not know. Him saying that on stream, if that's true, right? We're just going to pretend like it is, I guess, for the sake of this. I mean, that's pretty much tells you all it is, unless for some reason he's lying for the sake of hiding it for a little bit. But then that's kind of rude to whoever you end up dropping. Boston is a team, in my opinion, that might be the only team in this bottom grouping that I think has a reasonable reason, for lack of better words, to not make a change.
I agree.
I think you can't drop Slasher. I don't think you drop Snoopy. I don't think you drop Priesta. Capsule obviously the guy I think you consider, but Capsule has a very high ceiling in my opinion, just a lower floor. And I think if you just keep working, it's only been one major. He's shown a lot of potential, but also kind of got wiped at different times. Same with Snoopy, same with Slasher, same with Priesta. So I mean, I'd love to know what you guys have to think, but I think Boston sticking makes some sense.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
Go, you
Sorry,
go.
go ahead.
I've been speaking. No, I've been speaking it done. You go.
I was gonna say, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like Cap and Snoopy are playing a little bit of that same role. Like they're both really aggro. When I feel like one of them needs to slow down in order for the other sub to like truly show out the potential, because they both have a lot of engagements. I don't know because I mean, if we look at the major, Slapster, you know, first off, shout out to Slasher because he absolutely went off.
Yeah, like a 1.5.
Yeah. But I don't know. That might be a faded take, but I feel like they're both really aggro for no reason. I think one of them needs to slow down.
I agree.
Dude, I just read your chat. I just lost full.
Dude, I mean, Loesch has a good idea. Drop Cap and Snoopy, get Scrap and Simp. I think that makes sense. I think that makes a lot of sense, bro.
No, I actually think it makes perfect sense for them not to make a change. It's not just Cap's ceiling that's high, right? It's this Boston team. It's this Boston team that ceiling is high, or at least it should be. The problem with it is it's also a very low floor. The teams that are going to be consistent, they have a higher floor. And some teams have a higher floor, they do a high ceiling. This team is the exact opposite. They got a high ceiling, but a low floor, as we saw. I think Cap is one of those players that gets better as the year progresses. We saw it last year. He came onto that Florida team, and at the end of the year was looking. The more and more comfortable he gets in his role on his team, I think is going. They should be better. There's no reason they shouldn't be playing better than they are right now. And you know, it sucks that a lot of it's online. We just saw what Slasher does on. That dude was cooking, man. He was cooking. He was playing well. They lost the game 5 to the team. Yeah, you know, it sucks. It was at your own major. Eyes forward, right? You don't look good right now. Maybe this patch might kind of put everybody not on an even playing field by any stretch of the imagination. There are still teams that are miles and miles ahead, but maybe this will give you a half a leg up to maybe try to make some noise, catch back up in the standings, and get some momentum under your feet, and maybe make a run for the second major. So them not making a change, that makes sense. But the other bottom 2, 3, they gotta make a move.
Yeah, I mean, because Boston's respawns aren't that bad. I think their really main problem is search. That's what they definitely need to clutch up on. Their respawns aren't bad. But yeah, I agree. I don't think this Boston team should make a change unless someone absolutely underperforms during like major 2 qualifiers. Then they can start thinking about it. But I think right now, you know, again, new team, they just need to figure it out, and I think they'll be good. Will they be top 4 good? I think they may compete in a few, majors and stuff like that. But yeah, as Preston said, they have a really high ceiling when they put it together, but they have a really low floor. And unfortunately, right now, they're kind of stuck at that floor a little bit. But you see those glimpses of how good they can be. I mean, they beat Toronto. Again, that could have been a fluke series, whatever it was. But they still beat Toronto, and we saw how Toronto is right now. Absolutely godlike. Yeah. So, I mean, and given NYSL, they're not that great, or they haven't looked great, but they took NYSL to game 5. So, I think if they really put it together, they stick it out, try a few more things, I think they'll be good. But yeah, I don't think they should make any roster changes. Now, for the other bottom 3 teams, we may have to talk about some things. I do see that ASIM for Cap. I think ASIM's going to a different team. I'm not going to lie.
I do too. I think I think I have the perfect destination for him too. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Spit it out. Talk
Seattle.
to me. Mm.
I think that is a perfect landing spot for Asim. I think he's going to be a lone player. A lot of people are thinking that maybe FaZe Black will stick together, and they might. Maybe a team will pick up 2 or 3 of them. But if they go solo, each get poached by, I think Seattle for an R-Cities for Asim, I just think it makes so much sense. He's an aggressive sub. He can play with Hook when he needs to, but he's also been frying with an AR in challengers. And a lot of these maps are ARs. Not only does that give you another aggressive SMG when you need it, playing with Hook, but it also gives you a third AR, someone that's using that flag. And it also lets a boost playing his main role, which is what you took him off of in the first place. He doesn't have to use that SMG anymore. He can focus on using that AR. Played really good with at the major. I was impressed with the boost of this major. He looked really good and comfortable in that AR spot. I think if you bring in that Asim that could do it all, that hybrid, that flex, that utility play, this Surge team could be really good.
Yeah, Rick in chat makes a good point though. We saw Hook and Asim play together on LAG in the past as a sub duo, which obviously
That's different, man.
wasn't
They won a
great.
tournament. They won a tournament.
They did. And this is a very different game where Asim would probably be using an AR 80% of the time anyway.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But I do agree. I mean, honestly, every team should want to pick up Asim, I would imagine at this point. But I could see Seattle making sense because they're in the prime spots to literally get whatever they want. I mean, no offense to R-Cities, I think he's the one who's got to go. You move a Boozer to an AR, or you keep him on a sub and you get an AR. Like, you could do whatever you want if you're the Seattle team. And Asim's obviously a good pickup, I think, no matter who you are.
Do you think one team just drops all their players and just picks up FaZe Black and just says
No. I think LA Thieves makes the most moves, but I don't think they get rid of Ghosty.
They better not, dude.
I don't think they get rid of Dan.
I will lose composure.
I think especially considering how he looked on LAN versus LAG. I mean, it was one series, obviously. Maybe he just popped off for whatever reason, but you can't. You can't drop Dan.
My guy was
him at the very least.
I think go. Oh, I thought you were done.
No, I was just saying he was literally the only one shooting back online. Like,
oh yeah,
he was.
Like,
I think personally, if you don't make an individual change, Seattle, Asim, whatever, they go as a team. I think FaZe Black minus Exceed plus Ghosty is a good LAT team. I think it makes a lot of sense. Kremp has been frying. Asim has been frying. And Cammy's supposed to be laying. Done anything -1 match. Dan has been more of a slaying AR. The guy is absolutely frying right now. So maybe Brack might be a little bit better. It might just be like a pack-a-punch Cammy at this point. I think that would be a good LAT team. But like you said, let's see what happens. WrestleMania should be spiraling here pretty shortly.
Very, very soon, yeah.
Facts. I do want to answer. Where did it go? I want to answer. Where did it go? Charlie's question in chat. Thoughts on Miami benching Journey for Eric Boom? Because obviously we touched on this before the major in our episode. We said that if this major goes bad for Miami, is there a chance that Eric Boom comes in for a Journey? Because obviously that was the original plan for this team. They made that move to bring Journey in for Eric Boom before the season started. And with the chemistry they already have, he could be a quick and easy fix. Or maybe not fix, but at least replacement for this team. So if you guys have any thoughts on that, I mean, I would love to hear him because I don't know enough about Eric Boom, but apparently he's frying in challengers.
Yeah, I did see his team was frying. I mean, I'll be honest, Journey did not have the greatest LAN.
Yeah,
he dropped like below 0.7 in both series, so he was getting fried. But I think they stick it out one more, and if it doesn't work, then I think they make the change.
Eric Boom is frying, by the way. They just got third, I think.
Something like that, yeah.
I think third. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, and I think he was he voted number 2 in that poll the rotation did?
I think so.
Asim was 1 and he was 2.
And the matches that I was watching, he was frying. So shout out that guy. But obviously they made the decision at the beginning of the reason. They probably, my guess, took ample time to practice with both of them and maybe felt a little comfortable on the map with Journey. That being said, Journey has not been that great. And he looks he's definitely the weak link on that team, right? If there's going to be a person that you swap out on the team, it is Journey. But I think I'm with Alex. I think it might just be a little too early. We'll see how it starts Major 2 qualifiers for him. Maybe they're like, okay, new patch, we'll give it a go. If it doesn't work out, we'll swap him in. It doesn't hurt. He's already signed. So, but I think we see a lot more teams getting active and being proactive in making moves because, like you said, it's kind of not really, but kind of. You don't have that much time to make necessary moves to be good and qualify for champs. I mean, I think they'll qualify for champs, but maybe we'll see. I think they give him. I think they give him 2 matches minimum.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say you rock it out another week, maybe online, maybe 2 weeks. I don't know how many matches they play the first week, but I mean, if Journey comes out and he drops like a 0.6 online the first weekend, maybe you just make the move early on in the split before you get closer to the major, so you could really get the practice in and mesh with the team. And especially if they get to LAN and he plays horrible like he did at Major 1, then definitely they're gonna make a move. But I think they got to at least give him 1-2 matches in week 1 and just to see how it happens, see what happens. But I wish I knew more about Eric Boom so I could say whether or not he's really going to be that guy.
Well, we're gonna find out quickly how it is because they play Toronto and then FaZe their first 2 matches.
Yeah, he's done. Peace.
Oh no.
That's actually probably a good thing that they don't swap him in. Then you don't want Eric Boom's 2 first matches being against. That could be the momentum killer for a new kid.
Oh my god, can you imagine?
Yeah. I mean, after that, they play Legion, Thieves, NYSL, Carolina, and Minnesota. So if they were to make a change, like you said, Jake, I think it has to be after those 2 matches.
Mm-hmm.
See how it does, and then just give themselves 5 matches with Eric to with against lower level teams to kind of get used to the pro league and stuff.
Nick makes a pretty good point in chat. Eric has been playing on the new patch, so that could give Heretics a leg up.
That's
which
true.
Jake and I were talking on his watch parties. Practically any challenger that gets picked up is going to give a leg up to their team in the pro league because these pros have not been playing this new patch at all. They've been all playing the old patch. I mean, a ton of pros today are playing ranked for the first time because they didn't want to touch the new patch. I mean, so theoretically, I'm not going to say it's going to work this way, but theoretically speaking, a challenger that's been playing this patch is going to have a leg up on a pro that has not played this patch. So that's true. If they bring in Eric Boom, it could give him a leg up.
So you're saying, for Jake's sake, if LA Thieves picks up 3 new challengers players, Thieves are number 1 right now?
You saw my tweet, bro. LAT top 4 Major 2. Taylor Swift knows, all right? She was whispering it to Travis.
I'm not saying that. What I will say is if they do make 3 moves for FaZe Black, they will be better than what they are now. I mean,
can't be worse.
You can well,
you could win 0 hard points instead of 1, I guess.
That's true. You could be a little worse. Not much, but a little worse.
Oh man. All right, well, I have a question for us to chat about, but while we're chatting, chat, send us your questions, topics, hot takes, something in chat right now so we can talk about it. But first, while they're sending those, I want to know, who is your MVP of Major 1 if you cannot pick anyone on Toronto? Because obviously it's Kleenex, it's Scrap, it's Insight. I mean, any of those guys, honestly, are probably the top 3, even Envoy top 4. But other than those 4, who would you pick?
Go ahead, Alex. I'll pick someone different from you. I'll let you pick your guy first.
Yeah, we can all pick someone different because I'm sure we probably would have the same 1 or 2 answers anyway.
Yeah, I mean,
I can go first if you want.
Yeah, go first.
Yeah, I'll start it off with probably what the next runner-up, in my opinion. It's mostly what chat is saying right now. I think I go Simp. The dude's obviously been great all year long, but at the major he's been great, and he's Simp. You know what I mean? He did his thing pretty much in every. I think he had 1 series where he went negative, but he pretty much did his thing. I kind of looked at stats as I was preparing for my team of the week that I usually do. he had, I think, like, he might have had the second most kills and second most damage of, like, I think everyone at the major. I mean, they played a lot of maps, so obviously that counts for that. But I think Simp is probably next up outside of Ultra for me.
Go ahead, Preston.
All right. I'll go Cell. I mean, I would love to go somebody on Optic, and there is somebody on Optic that stands out and could be.
Yeah, I'm surprised you didn't pick him.
Here's the thing, right? I'm not biased and I'm being legit. Cell looks insane right now and is a huge reason that FaZe look crazy. Besides Simp. Simp is obviously would have been my pick as well. But Cell just looks nuts. I mean, going into the tournament, he had like a 1.9 in S&D or something, which is unheard of, ungodly. And the guy's just not missing. Every single series is like a 1.2, 1.3. You know, the guy's been doing it for years. He's consistent, Mr. Consistent with his numbers. I do wish he played a little more aggressive sometimes, but I'm not going to take a guy that's good and tell him how to play Call of Duty. So my pick would be Cell.
Yeah, I'm gonna go.
You have to.
I have to. Pred.
Yeah.
I mean, my guy came out, absolutely fried. I mean, we've always known Pred to be that guy on LAN. For some reason, he always just plays way better on LAN than he does online. And yeah, I mean, I don't want to mispronounce your name, my guy. I'm so sorry. Shafil, I think that's how you say your name. I'm so sorry if that's not. But yeah, he dropped a 1.25 this weekend. And he, like, against FaZe, he was probably, like, him and I'll be honest, him and Kenny were probably the only ones that turned up against FaZe in in both matches. But Prayer just, I mean, he took it to like another level. He was just winning all the gunfights that you needed. He was bringing the energy to the team. He was getting hyped when he needed to get hyped. Like, he just was frying. I mean, there's not much to say. He did what he needed to do. He slayed out. I mean, yeah, can't say much else. If you want to add anything, Preston, go ahead.
What else is there to say, man? I mean, I would have taken him, but I wanted to not only let Alex take him, but I think I'm going to give FaZe their flowers this weekend. We're 0-3 to start the year against them, so I thought it was only right for me to take Cell. People are in chat are calling him a KD merchant. That's insane, by the way. I do think he does bait a little too much sometimes, but he's not a KD merchant. The guy's just consistent. As much as I hate to say it, he's good at what he does, man.
Yeah, I mean, he was positive against Miami, positive against FaZe the first time, positive against Surge, playing his old team, absolutely slammed them. Positive against Minnesota, again, playing against Lamar, the Optic Reaper. And then positive against FaZe again in that elimination final.
Yeah.
I mean, he absolutely fried, and I don't expect anything less from him.
Absolutely.
I would honestly. I know I posted a poll. I think the second day, or was it no, Saturday. Yeah, I was like, who was Optic's MVP? And a lot of people picked Pred, but most people picked Kenny. So that's also pretty interesting. I know Kenny had that really big 3-piece at the end of the invasion hardpoint to take us to Game 5. But I mean, I you can't go wrong with either one of them, honestly, Pred or Kenny.
Yeah, I think Pred, Ken, Simp, or not Pred, Ken, Simp, Pred, Cell, Simp are definitely the first three I thought of outside of Ultra for that. And then also Ken. I mean, you listen to the comms and stuff, you see the big plays Kenny makes. Obviously, he has an impact outside of just the stats and the scoreboard too, which is where Pred kind of is going to dominate. So you could also say Ken, because that dude also does hella damage. He does more damage sometimes than everyone on the team, and he might only have like a 1.05. So
he does. He just had a rough final series against FaZe in the Lunars final, which kind of sucks because he was having such a good tournament, and he still did have such a good tournament. His tournament was insane. He had a very good tournament, but I mean the rough last series kind of killed it a little bit for me. But the guy, you see the impact he has, man. The guy does so much for the team. I mean, this already looks like a new Optic in their in their gameplay, in their how they're composed a lot of the time. They got some things to fix, obviously, but it feels like a much more composed and direct optic than we've seen in the past X amount of years.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So we only actually got one question from chat. They were just answering the question I posed. So we can touch on it. Rick has been asking about it since the beginning of the show, and we do have Ender in our thumbnail. So I think it's only right we touch on it a little bit. Rick specifically asked, what excuses are we going to make for Illy if he was being, or are we being real? If he was on something, ignoring by the league shouldn't be acceptable. I'll start it. First things first. I don't want to make any assumptions. Illy came out on Twitter and said that he was just hyped up on caffeine and, he gets a little nervous in front of the crowd or whatever. I'm not going to call him a liar. I don't take any drugs or had never done Adderall, never done any of that stuff. So I can't personally say what it does to somebody. We've seen Ender in interviews in the past, though, not be like he was in that interview on stage. I do want to give him benefit of doubt and obviously say I don't think he's lying. But if there's something going on behind the scenes, I hope somebody talks to him. I hope his teammates are there for him. He has some sort of support system in place because obviously you don't want to mess with things, especially things that are against CDL rules.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of in the same boat as Jake. I mean, I won't lie. Like when I first saw the videos and stuff like that, I was like, my guy is definitely on something. But again, I don't want to make any assumptions. I came to that conclusion myself. I was like, okay, I'm not going to accuse him of anything. But as Jake said, if there is something going on behind closed doors that we don't know about, I just hope, one, Seattle is supporting him in any way, and they're actually being upfront with him, but so is the league. Because I know a few years ago, the league said that they actively test players. How true is that? I have no idea. I'm not in the league, of course. But I just think if that situation is what people are making it out to be, then he is getting the support he needs. Because we know how Adderall could, take over your life and stuff like that. So I'm not going to accuse him of anything. If he is, I hope he gets the help he needs. If he's not, given he did say he was nervous and he was on caffeine. I mean, Illy hasn't been in the league for a little bit now, so I could see why he would be nervous talking to the crowd for the first time since maybe Vanguard,
Especially because he was being booed.
Yeah, so I could see why, but again, if it truly is a situation, which I would hope it's not, because again, I expect better from the league. I expect better from these organizations. That if something like that is going on behind closed doors, they're addressing it properly. I hope that if that is if that is the case, I think he needs to get help, and I hope that that Surge and the league are doing everything that they can to support him, because this is not something that we want in the league. We've had previous players. We've had Hook, who's one of his teammates, come out previously and say, I used to be, addicted to Adderall at some point. So I hope he's getting that support that he needs for surely.
Yeah, I mean, same here, right? These guys did a good job. I don't really want to say too much, but it's more like just make sure it's actually live. But if it's what he says and he just has a ton of caffeine, which that's an insane amount of caffeine because he didn't look too good. But if caffeine can be crazy, right? Caffeine's crazy sometimes, so I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. I just hope he's good, right? I mean, player health should always be number one, should always be the league's priority, should always be the player's priority, and it should always be your teammates, your coaches, your orgs. Everyone's priority should be players' health. There is no league without the players, and there's no players without players' health. So it should always be the priority. And if he's good, he's good. His okay with it. His org's good. Everything's good. All right, he's cool. Just make sure he's cool. That's all it is to me. I don't know anything about it. I don't know what the side effects are. So I sit here like I have my PhD and I'm an expert. I'm not. Just obviously players' health is that's
facts. Also, Preston, your mic cuts out every once in a while. I don't know if maybe you want to unplug
I
it or
unplugged it
plug
and
it back
replugged it
in.
back in. It's still doing it.
Yeah, it does it occasionally.
Yeah.
I don't know. You're having tech issues over there, man. Tech is not your friend the recent weeks.
um,
Anything else, chat? You feel free to send stuff out. I mean, at this point in the show, we're kind of just chatting with you guys, seeing your hot takes, cold takes, questions, topics. I don't know. Anything you got for us, we're pretty much here to answer for the next however long, 30 minutes, 40
what do
minutes
you
maybe.
guys what do you guys think about the prize pool being reduced? I know Zafty asked that. Because I think it wasn't like 350K this round, but like previously it's been like 500K per major or something like that. Um, I mean, we saw that a bunch of people got laid off like during the major, and I know even Jacob tweeted that people that were working the major currently still didn't even know if they had a job with the league and stuff like that. Honestly, just the way esports is right now, I don't doubt it. I'm pretty sure the prize money for ever since MW 2019 has gone down in some form or fashion, either for champs or for whatever it is. But I know we talked about the league being dead a few, like maybe 2 podcasts ago. But it just kind of seems that way, honestly. Like people are going to lose their jobs, money's going to keep going down. Yeah, I mean, it sucks that there's reduced prize money, but that's just the way, unfortunately, esports is right now. The way the economy is in esports, it's there isn't a lot of money to be made, and when there is, it's really low, which is why you rarely see challenger teams get sponsored by these big organizations because there isn't that much in return for them. So yeah, I mean, I just think it's has to do with the league. I know we talked about it. How long do we see the league being in place? Probably not within the next 2 years, but I just think that's the biggest thing is esports is a really tricky place to make money. You're going to spend a lot of money, and you may not see a return ever. So I think that's the biggest thing, honestly.
Where's that YouTube money, man? Where's that at? Where is it at? We signed this contract with YouTube, and then we reduced the prize pool. These guys are trolling. You're making me watch on this trash platform, and I have to constantly two times.
Hey, we're on YouTube right now. We're on YouTube right now.
I'm constantly 2-timing my stream because I'm 30 seconds behind, and you reduce the price. Whatever. I mean, I'm just so over talking about the CDL. They're done in X amount of years anyway. I don't really care about it anymore. I mean, I'm sure the players want more money, obviously. Their orgs are paying. At least the teams that are paying to make up for the prize pool reductions. So, whatever. Just, I'm so tired of harping on these guys. They suck. It is what it is.
Yeah, they do suck. Yeah, I mean, I won't touch too much on it. I think Alex really kind of said it right. Esports just, you ain't making money. And at the end of the day, the players at least are making enough money. It's not like back in the day where prize pools was paying for their bills. So at the very least, they have a job and they're stable. People at Activision are losing their job, which is super unfortunate. But I mean, esports, it's coming down from the high it was. It's coming down from the high it was. Get used to it because it's probably going to keep coming down. And even if it doesn't, it's probably we're going to be staying for a while. So unfortunately, this is what we got to deal with. I want to touch on this one in chat. I don't know if you guys read it already.
I think
but we got to talk about it. Zafty asks, do you think if Optic don't perform to expectations, Dashy unfortunately gets dropped? So just I guess we'll add some context to this. Let's say it's the end of the season. Optic has not won a major. They do not win champs. Does Dashy get dropped?
What are their placings? Are they consistently top 3 all year?
I would.
If they're consistently top 3 all year, absolutely not.
I
don't
guess
care.
Okay, well, we can just do it like that. If they're consistently top 3, you're saying no. You're saying that's your limit.
I'm so tired. I'm so tired of people on my Twitter telling me, I get it, right? These guys should win tournaments. I'm not sitting here saying they shouldn't. But it's a hard league to win in, man. These are the best of the best in the world. These are the best of the best. We want some consistency. If they can bring some consistency, right? Who knows? I genuinely don't think we'll even have this conversation because I do see this team winning a major, at least one major. There's a lot of talent on this team, and I do think that they're gonna win a major minimum. But I don't know, man. I just don't. I think you want some consistency if you're Optic, and if you get consistency throughout the year, I don't think you make a change.
I think if we don't win anything, I think anything is a possibility, honestly, at this point. Yes, top 3 is fine, but I've always said this: if you're not first, you're last. No, there's really no questions about that. Yes, second is good. I mean, we look at FaZe; they've gotten second a handful amount of times, and they're still pretty dominant. You know, they win here now, but I mean, they won in Boston last year. And they haven't won since. But I think if they don't at least win one, I think anything is I don't think anything's off the table, honestly.
Are we scapegoating Dashy? Is that what this is?
No.
No. Honestly, I was gonna tell you something. But I was like, let me hold my tongue. It's the first major. I don't want to sound hypocritical.
Mhm.
We may have to start having some uncomfortable conversations sooner rather than later, if things don't change.
Jeez, I disagree, but that's me. I mean, I get it. I understand. And you guys, I mean, I understand. Sitting here saying, I don't personally agree. I think they want some consistency, and I think the way that he's transitioning as a player, right, will help them bring consistency. Not only is Ken one of the way that Zassy's transitioning, I think I genuinely believe with every single ounce of me that they're going to win a major, one minimum.
I mean, I don't doubt it. I want them to win majors again. That's I don't doubt that they don't win. Could be any of these majors, but I hope they win a major. I truly believe they will win a major. It's just I want to see them win more than anything because I'm so tired of everyone saying that Optic hasn't won such and such, days or whatever it is. But I do agree with who said it. Someone said it in here. Rick said, Dashy's not the issue, and if the past 2 years Dashy has been changing his game for the better of the team, and I agree with that. I mean, if you look at it this year, he's probably the number one hill kitten in all the league.
I think he
And
is.
I
Yeah.
think, and I think Dashy of old probably wouldn't have done that. Dashy of old would have probably, how you said, been probably like the scrap. He would have been out there getting gunfights, getting in those engagements. But he's changing for the better of the team, and so I think he's starting to understand that like I need to change my role. I need to change the way I play for this team to succeed. And again, we just got top 3. We're gonna fix things up. Hopefully with this new patch, everyone restarts to 0 and everyone gets the same amount of progression as Optic does, since Optic did come in and scrim a little late. I don't want to get into that, but I think with this new patch, I think it's going to work for the better of Optic, honestly.
Everyone puts just like I don't know if people just have a kink with like deadlines that you got to win a major by this time, but I mean, I get it. Ultra's a brand new team too. I made a tweet like this. Ultra and FaZe look better than no doubt, right? I mean, Ultra looks better than FaZe. FaZe looks better than Optic. We had this discussion already. They also only made one player change, and it might not seem like that big of a difference, but if you look at it on paper, they both changed a part of their team that they felt weak in, and they upgraded to arguably the best version of themselves that they both could have been. Ultra went with Envoy over Hixie, which is obviously an insane look on paper. I mean, Hixie did great for that team, and look, right? Draws went in for Slasher with insane look on paper, and look how Optic made a 2-player change. It's going to take them longer to adapt. They got rid of half their team. 2 guys are coming in. It's a new team. It's going to take them a little bit longer. 2-player change is much more change. I mean, it is what it is. I think the fact that they got top 3, they looked as good as they did after looking at the last 2 matches online. I think this team is only. But I'll reiterate. Kenny's teams get better as the year goes on. I mean, it is what it is. That's what he brings to the table, right? He brings consistency, he brings good placements, and he brings his team just constantly getting better. So I think this team is good, and I don't think we should be putting a deadline on when they should win a major, especially with there only being 4 this year. I think they're going to win a tournament. When they win that tournament, it'll be a great feeling for me and a bunch of other people. But when they win that tournament, there you go. That's all I need to say. It's not an if, it's a when. Is it this year? I don't know. Next year? Whatever. I think it's Major 3. That's it for me. Major 3 is when they bring home a chip, finally.
Okay. I'm going to say something that might be spicy.
Oh, God.
I'm going to say something that might be spicy. I'm sure there's people that agree, but we all know how Optic fans are. If Dashy was on another team, we would not talk about him in the way we do now. If a guy who drops a 1.1 or a 1.15 on Boston Breach or Las Vegas Legion or any team outside of the top, 3, nobody cares. I'm not saying Dashy's bad. I'm not saying I don't like Dashy, but I'm saying because he's on Optic, we think he's, I don't want to say better than he is, but I want to say we think he is capable of maybe more than he is. You can't deny the fact that he's been a pro for 7 years and has only won twice, being as good as he is. So I'm not saying he's bad. I'm just saying we think of Dashy higher than I think we should.
That's a spicy take.
That's a crazy take. That is a crazy take.
I don't usually get spicy. I don't usually get spicy because I try to avoid getting canceled. But
that's a crazy take.
I mean, Rick says in chat, most pros never win at all, which is obviously true, right? Winning is hard. But we talk about Dashy as I see people say he's one of the top 3 most skilled players of all time. You would think a top 3 most skilled player of all time, especially being on Optic, who have a big spend, big budget, brings in superstars, would have more wins. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, Scump, top 3 skilled player, 30 wins. Simp, maybe top 3 skilled player, 2 rings, 9, 10 wins, whatever he has. I don't really know. I think there's just a little bit of a mismatch here.
Can I ask you a question?
Of course.
I'll counter your spice with a spicy question of my own.
Mm-hmm.
If you swap Cell and Dashy in positions right now, is FaZe as good as they are? Is Optic as good as they are?
No. I would say FaZe is definitely as good as they are. I think Simp and Abizi as your sub duo, any talented AR is going to be great. I think if Dashy and Cellium swap their careers, I still think Dashy has as many wins, maybe more, maybe a couple less than Cellium. If you swap Cell to Optic, I mean, I probably, I don't know, you might have more issues. I'm not going to lie to you.
Okay, that's what I'm saying.
So I'm not saying Dashy's bad. I'm just saying we talk about Dashy on Optic like he's gonna win, and he's won twice in like 7 years. Like I feel like at some point we have to be like,
we talk about Cell all the time, how he's so consistent, he's so good. Look at who he's playing with, man. Look at who he's playing with.
Yeah.
He's playing with one of the best sub duos we've ever seen.
Probably the best sub duo we've ever seen.
Probably the best sub duo we've ever seen. If you put Cell in Dashy's position on Optic, we're not talking about Cell the same way we're talking about Cell now. If you put Dashy's in Cell's position on FaZe, we're talking about Dashy the exact way we talk about Cell now. It's his position, right? And he is doing what he can right now to transition to be the best player he can for this team to win. I genuinely think Kenny is the best thing.
Oh, I think he froze.
We lost him.
I think his computer crashed.
No.
I get it, right? I completely understand it. The guy he's got a lot of weight on his shoulders, and everybody's expecting him to be great, and he only has 2 championships. I understand. But I and I read a comment saying we can't think like his teammates are his good. Absolutely, his teammates have been good. I'm just saying everyone's expecting him. First of all, for starters, Optic's expectations are always far and above everyone else's expectations. That's what comes with being the biggest organization in the league. I mean, you're always going to have the greatest expectations. You have the biggest fan base. Everybody's always going to want you to go out there and win every single tournament. It's not realistic. Realistic expectations, he should win and should have won more. I will be the person to sit here and say that a player of that caliber should have won more tournaments. But
I also don't think the blame is all on him. There's a
the
lot.
blame is not all on him whatsoever. There have been tournaments where he's been the best player in the venue, and they get 3rd, 4th, 6th. I mean, there's only so much the guy can do.
I will say this year again, with him transitioning into the different, which is one thing I hope people understand, is he's transitioning into a different role that he's not really used to playing, not used to slaying out, getting all the kills, taking crazy gunfights and stuff like that. So it's taking him a while to adjust. That's why he hasn't been dropping the crazy numbers that we're used to see him dropping. And that's just, it's like the biggest thing. Like, he's transitioning into a new role. But I also, like how I said, I don't think it's his fault all the way that the Optic teams haven't performed.
Mm-hmm.
I think like yes, he's had great teams, some really top tier teams and stuff like that. It's not all on him. Again, it's a team game. People need to do their part. And unfortunately, like, I don't know. It's just one of those things where, as Preston said, when you're on Optic, your expectations are super, super high. And if you don't meet those, you're going to get crucified by literally everyone. Your fans, opposing teams' fans. I mean, we saw it kind of this weekend with Preston. I mean, he got crucified for being a supporter. My God, people were coming at his neck. But again,
dick riding season, man.
Glazing season. But I mean, again, it's just one of those things where it's gonna happen. He's he may not. I truly hope he wins a few more times before he retires. But if he doesn't, it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough.
Couple good questions in here. First of all, somebody, dude, Laios, you are a troll, brother. Somebody just said,
dude.
Is Optic the biggest pretender in the CDL? Yes or no? In parentheses, yes. You are a troll. You are an absolute troll. Now, there was a good question there from Nick, though. How good would FaZe be if Shotzi took that FaZe offer at the end of Vanguard? Are we talking that it's the trio plus Shotzi? Because if so, very good. I mean,
I say worse.
Oh,
I think they're worse. The trio plus Shotzi. I mean, I know they'd be really worse than MW3 because that's a lot of subs. I don't see how it works. The trio plus Shotzi. I mean, talent wise, they would be great. They'd probably still be top 3 every single event. But I don't think they get better than they are. Maybe let's say, or they don't outplace how they did recently.
Wait, when you say worse, you mean worse than the team now, right?
I'm thinking you're saying we said before Vanguard.
No, at the end of Vanguard.
At the end
you think
of Vanguard,
they're worse than the MW2 year that they had?
I think. Maybe I take that back. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to imagine Simp on a flex in like.
Simp with attack in that game would have been nasty.
Yeah, you know what? They might have been nasty. Now that I think about it.
Shotzi and Abe on subs and Simp with attack in that game would have been final.
I don't know that they're necessarily like that much better. Because who leads that team? You know what I mean? Like, I think that maybe comes into an issue there. I think Shotzi going rogue at the same time Abeezy's going rogue might not always work well. But Simp on a flex, I mean, I still think they're top 2 team.
They might not be better than the team this year because Draws might be that perfect piece.
Mm-hmm.
But
well, I mean, they got second again, but
true. They can't be
Definitely not
Well,
perfect.
definitely not perfect. Definitely not perfect. No, perfect was my boy Dill going to Toronto, man. That
Oh.
was perfect. What?
No, I'm just sigh of sadness for
Uh,
LA Thieves.
yeah. Hey, your boys are all top 3, and
Dude,
then
I
there's
mean, at the end of the day, at least I can support them. You know what I mean?
yeah, of course, of course. Yeah, you got LAT coming around the corner. That roster change is
Top
sick.
4 major too.
Yeah, of course.
Book it.
That roster change is elite.
Will we ever see one of Simp, Cell, or Abe on Optic at one point? I don't think so. I think they're staying with FaZe until they retire, honestly.
Somebody asked if they get. I don't know exactly what the question is. Oh, here it is. Do you think the FaZe trio split if they don't win champs or get a bunch of seconds again? That is crazy because maybe. Because maybe. At this point, it might
Maybe
be
that's the
getting it like in
problem.
the back of their head.
Because I know that was a narrative brought up last year, I think, as well. They were like, is the problem? I mean, they dropped our cities, they didn't win champs, got a bunch of seconds. They dropped Slasher again because they got a bunch of seconds, they didn't win champs. They were like, is the issue the 3?
Here's my answer with that. They did win last year, right? So they won a major. So it's not like they've just been getting seconds. They did get a win. They did get a major last year. If they get a bunch of seconds this year, maybe the trio splits. I do not think Simp and Abizi split up. I think maybe they just separate from Cell. I so highly doubt the duo splits up. I think that duo is just way too good. I really do. I maybe the trio splits up. It's like I'm not even sitting here saying yes. I'm saying maybe at best, just because of how good they've been. I don't see a world in which that duo splits up. I really don't.
I see this other question. Alex and Preston, what do you think about Shotzi switching to the Hill Kitten role and moving Dashy to slaying like he was in BO4? I kind of
I'm
feel like that's what
I, I,
Shotzi's been doing a little bit, honestly. I feel like he's been sitting in Hill a lot of the time.
it's him and Bruce.
Yeah.
But you know, I want whatever works for the team, man. If that means Bruce is sitting in Hill and getting 2.5 minutes, that means Bruce is sitting in Hill and getting 2.5 minutes. That means Ant is a Hill kitten. That means Ant's a Hill kitten. Whatever the team feels is the is most comfortable for them is what I want them to do. Because when you're most comfortable, that's when you're playing your best card. And I want them to play their best card. I know they can't always play their best card. That's not how it works. But I want them to consistently play a card at a level in which we know that they are capable. So whatever is necessary for them to play at their level. That's my answer. I don't have a. I'm not sitting here telling you, like they're.
Uh,
Wait,
uh,
was that a full freeze or
Oh
is he back? I knew
no,
it, dude.
I'm
here.
I
back.
thought he'd be back. I thought he'd be back.
I'm back. I'm back. Wait, you guys froze on my screen, and I'm like, oh no, but it didn't. It didn't die. Okay. Jeez, dude, I gotta fix it. Anyways, we got some Twitter experts tweeting at some coaches, thinking that we know everything, and we'll tell the coaches what needs to be fixed, and all of a sudden, Optic's the greatest team in the league. But you know, I'm not here to say what they need to do to make it work. They know what needs to happen. And if they don't know, they'll figure it out. Whatever puts them in the most comfortable position for them to succeed is what I want them to do.
Yeah, honestly, whatever helps them. I mean, I know a lot of people have brought up that there is definitely a pacing issue. There is definitely, I don't want to say definitely, but Ant can go rogue sometimes. We've seen that a few times. Um, but I think it's just more so on Ant to be disciplined rather than having to switch roles. I think if Ant is more disciplined, then the team does a lot better. But I don't necessarily think that if he goes to Hill Kitten and Dashy, because who's to say, of course, Dashy's great. Has a straight shot. But who's to say that Dashy just goes and gets fried in this game? BO4 and this game are completely different. But again, as President said, I want whatever is best for the team. Honestly, if that means Pred getting in the fucking hill, get him in the hill. I don't
Nope.
care. As long as this team, if it helps us win, I'm okay with it.
The last thing I heard was If that means Pred needs to play Hill, Pred absolutely not. That's the one thing that I say. He's not playing Hill at all. At all.
If that wins us the next 4 majors and champs, I'm all for it.
Brother, that is not winning us anything. He's one of the
Hey.
best slayers in the game. You let him do what he does best, man. That's the one player on this team I'm like, no, he's getting kills. He's doing nothing but getting kills.
Again, whatever change needs to be made for us to win, I am all for it.
Yeah, no, I definitely I wanted to take a minute to glaze Toronto Ultra. Absolutely gobble those glizzies, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm trying to see glazing season come out right now for this. Listen, Toronto Ultra are by far the best team in the game, and they are the best team in every single game mode.
No doubt.
It's actually, I mean, we're early in the year, right? You can sometimes see teams get ahead of people early in the year, but I mean, dude, it wasn't even close. They've dropped 8 maps this season, just for the record, and 3 of those are to Boston.
I'm gonna keep it a buck. When they whooped on NYSL during the qualifiers, I was like, okay, makes sense. You know, 2 top 4 teams going against each other. But the way they played this major, my God. Again, we ranked them number 1 for a reason. And we said, Ultra, very big gap, phase. They are dominant right now. And again, I feel like that's kind of normal for COD. Like, there's always that one team at the beginning of the seasons that's always super dominant. But they look absolutely lights out. And the crazy thing is in that final, in the grand finals, they got outslayed, but their teamwork was so good. I'm pretty sure all of them went negative except for Insight, Scrap, Envoy, Phoenix. But their teamwork and their comms, the kills that they get at the right times, it's just godlike. Like, they play COD beautifully, and we've always known Ultra to be that team to have like the great comms and stuff like that, but they played wonderful. I'm glazing them all. I don't care. Glazing them.
Yeah, they deserve all the glaze in the world. I mean, they looked unbelievable. I don't think they'll stay that unbelievable. It's hard to stay that consistent and that good. It's early. They have an early lead above everybody. And they took full advantage of it, right? They looked unbelievable. They looked crazy dominant from start to finish. Only dropping 2 maps an entire tournament is absolutely unheard of. It's unheard of. I don't even know if it's ever been done before, to be honest. But crazy dominant tournament for them. Good for them. If they can keep it up, even in the slightest, that's so unbelievably impressive. But it's going to be hard to keep up the dominance that they just showed this weekend.
Hopefully, with this new patch, again, it resets everyone to 0. Everyone has to learn a completely new different game, and it'll hopefully even the scoreboard. But right now, again, I think what's key for them is their teamwork. Like, no matter what, their teamwork and their communication is what's literally keeping. Yeah, it's what's literally keeping them in like series and what's making them so dominant. Again, you're getting outslayed, and you're still winning. That's so crazy.
I don't think it's resetting everybody to 0. I really don't. I mean, the patch is crazy. The game is a bit of it is practically new, but I don't think the patch resets everybody to 0. I mean, Toronto and FaZe and Optic are still going to be ahead of people. They are, regardless.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I think Ultra can keep this up all year. I just think the only difference is we're gonna see other teams get better. I think this Ultra team could get better too, but I think we're gonna see other teams also get better. But I mean, based on what we've seen so far, this Ultra team might win every major. I mean, I doubt that happens, because that would be even better than like the Cold War FaZe year. But I think this Ultra team is pretty crazy. I think they're absolutely insane. And I also want to say that guy Insight, he's been great every single year, right? But he's putting up numbers this year. Like, he's a dude who would typically give you a 1.05, a 1.1 maybe, you know, because he doesn't have that many engagements. Homie was cooking at this major. I mean, he was putting up high kills, high damage, getting a hill time, winning every one. I don't think he lost the 1v1 like all major. The dude is genuinely... He might be in the convo for like best AR in the game right now. Well, main AR.
Hey,
They were I don't know who it was, but
shout out Brock Purdy. Just donated
Oh
$1.99.
shit. He's
I'm
gonna
a DoorDash
DoorDash the
Chiefs.
Chiefs.
I love that. Big. I'm a season ticket holder for the Niners, by the way. So I love that out of you, Brock Purdy. I want to see that.
I think somebody said, I don't remember who it was, but somebody on Ultra said something about Jamie. It might have been Jamie himself, maybe, I don't know, in the interview or something, said something about he got slammed in winners finals. Everybody on the team went positive except for him. He was like 10 or something kills negative. And he was like, all right, guys, I owe you this series. And then just absolutely took over when everyone else got slammed. It was like, it's just unbelievable, right? Because it shows you how good that team really is. Anybody on that team could take over whenever they want to. And they're going to be scary good all year. I mean, they're going to be consistently scary good all year. It is what it is. Do I think that they have another tournament this dominant? Probably not. Not this dominant. I think this might be like the one tournament where they just slam everybody. Do I think they win other tournaments? I mean, probably. I mean, I'd be stupid not to say yeah. But I think it might be a little bit closer. Like they might lose a series and then come from losers and win, or they might like grand finals might be 4-2, 4-3. Just insane. We kind of like it was like an anomaly this last weekend. I mean, we never see tournaments that are that dominant. We saw it. They slammed Rocker. We were like, okay, it's Rocker. But then they went and slammed FaZe. And the second they slammed FaZe the first time, everybody in the back of their head is just like, who's beating this team? Who's beating this team? Optic didn't even play losers finals yet, and in the back of my head, I'm like, who's beating this team? It doesn't really even matter if Optic get there, to be honest. Nobody's beating this team in the way that they are right now. They just look so good, so good. A near perfect, and that's not me glazing. I mean, it is kind of me glazing, but a near perfect tournament for these guys. They dropped 2 maps, and they were both controls. That is insane. That's insane. Control cheese.
Dude, I mean, the only chance we have is the Boston Breach. It's the only chance we have to stop this Ultra Dynasty from forming.
I think that might be it, honestly.
We might need it, dude. Loesch, we talked about Doug in the beginning. We're all sad to see him go, but I mean, dude found his new passion in breaking that records. Maybe once he breaks it, he comes back. Who knows?
I doubt it.
But he's still going to be around the Boston Breach. Org, he said he's going to keep working with them, trying to grow them, do what he can for the esports scene as a whole. So I'm excited for Doug.
Yeah, W Doug. Probably should have gave up the COD career a couple of years ago, but W Doug.
Another dono. I'm not a system quarterback. Watch me in 2 weeks. I love that out of you, Brock.
Dude,
Dude.
Brock
I love that out of you. I love that.
What kind of contract does Brock have? Because he's out here with that spending money.
Nah, Brock's still on his rookie contract right now, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, rookie last pick in the draft contract. He's making nothing right now.
He's making
he's making a lot of money, but he's making nothing in terms of NFL money.
Hey, well,
Can we
either
talk
way,
about
shout out
Alec
Brock.
not believing in Optic costing us winners round 2? Hey, I had my bracket. I had Optic going on a crazy losers bracket run. It's not that I didn't believe. Again, I tweeted I would much rather go 3 for 5 that day than 5 for 5. But because of my bracket, I'm sticking to my guns. I couldn't just switch up like that.
I respect it. Oh,
Shazi,
shit. We got another one.
We got to, what is that, Euro?
Yeah, Zafty with
2
2 euros. Shout out Zafty and Brock.
Shazi hasn't been the same without Crim6 on Dallas Empire.
Oh, goodness gracious. Don't make me throw up in my mouth,
Dude,
please.
it's not Crim, bro. He misses that 5v5 online cheese.
Dude, I can't stand Crim, dude. I can't stand Crim. Don't make me throw up in my mouth, please. It's disgusting. The guy won a chip without Crim, man. What are we talking about here?
Dude, I mean, but low key though, maybe Shotzi is just 5v5 kind of guy. Nothing wrong with that.
If Dallas keep Clay instead of Crim in Cold War, they are much better and actually compete with FaZe. There you go. I said what I said.
Dang,
They
dude,
kept the wrong guy. But I digress.
Yeah. All right. Well, I mean, we've been live for 2 hours, so I'm guessing it's time probably to start closing it out. I know, Alex, you got other responsibilities to take care of shortly.
Yeah.
But, you know,
Okay. Last question. I know
yeah,
we
let's
already
hear it.
talked about this. What is everyone's expectation for Optic? I understand that they're a new team, but the amount of money they spent on them, they need to win at least one. Yes, I think the expectation is that they win at least one, if not more. I'm pretty sure that's the expectation for all the top 4 teams. They win at least one. Well, honestly, it's the expectation for every team. Every team wants to win. Every team wants to win champs. But I think for Optic specifically, yes, their thing is to win. They have the players to do it. They'll get it done. Trust. Big trust.
Yeah, Major 3. Yeah, Major 3, they're gonna win. They're gonna play. I don't know. That's way too far for a prediction. But Major 3 is their major. You heard it here
Honestly,
first.
though, if we don't win a major, but we win champs, I'm cool with that.
Oh, yeah.
What? Of course. Why'd you
Cool
not
with it.
be?
Just because I don't want people to hear be like, "Oh, Optic didn't win a major."
Nah, dude,
What
give me
makes you think
Major
they're gonna
3
win
instead of
champs?
champs. What are we talking about?
Lock in. Can we lock in?
But no,
Who is
I
realistic?
agree with you. I think Optics, if you win one major, I think for all the top teams, one major was kind of like the goal.
Again, I think the end all be all is, of course, champs. Everyone wants to win champs. It's champs for a reason.
Yeah, one event.
Yeah, but that's like everyone's expectations. I don't think. I mean, if you go into the season not expecting to win champs, you're a loser. Like lock in. But if I think if Optic wins a major, 2 majors, and they don't win champs, I think that's fine. That's still a W in my book. They won something this year. So yeah, I mean, that's fine with me.
Yeah, I think one's a good answer. I mean, obviously, you want to win all of them, but that's just not really possible. It's not.
Would you rather have your fave team win 4 majors or just champs? Just champs. Give me champs. Give me the ring.
I mean, I said it in
I'll take
chat. I
4
said, give me
majors.
4 majors.
Nah,
I'll take
give me
4
that
majors
ring.
as well. I
Give me
would
that
like the
ring.
feeling of consistently winning. Obviously, champs
Let's
is
see.
like champs is what puts the hardware in the cabinet. So for memory's sake, it's cool. But consistently feeling that we're winning. Now I'll take the 4 majors.
But like, think about it though. You win 4 majors and you're like, oh yeah, we about to win champs, and you don't win champs. That's so heartbreaking to me. It's like we won all of these. Why couldn't we win the big one?
It's happened to Optic like 3 times. Why are we not used to it?
I think it
Because
depends how you
I
look at
want
it.
rings. I want hardware.
I think it depends how you look at it. For me, if we won, if LA Thieves, because that's my team, won all 4 majors this year and then lost at champs, honestly, the way I would look at it, and this just could be my mindset and just my lifestyle, so to speak, is I'd be like, you know what, dude, it just wasn't our event, man. It's just how it goes. At least we won the other 4. We were the best team this year, I think. So I'll
Winning
take
4
the 4.
majors probably gets you more money than winning champs too. By
Oh,
the way,
dude, if I'm a player, give me the majors for sure. I think I try to like come up with some sort of like equation for it. I feel like maybe champs is worth like 3 majors because at the end of the day, it is just an event. It's not any different than anything else. It's just a different feeling, I guess, with a different prize. So like, I feel like 3 majors, champs. I think that's a fair equal in my mind.
yeah. I mean, to me, the ideal season is exactly what New York did last year. 2
Oh
majors,
yeah,
2 majors in a ring. That's the ideal situation, right? You can't really ask for more, and you don't want to ask for less. That is a perfect situation to be in. You get 2 majors, you did it without, and then you win the big one. You get the hardware. That's what teams are striving to do. I think New York had a perfect season last year.
Even honestly, in my opinion, even one major and champs is good because isn't that what Thieves did during
Yeah,
the Vanguard season? They won New York and then they went on to win champs.
oh,
yeah.
Like that's fine with me, honestly.
They got
But
second the event before that. It didn't count though, or something. What was
no,
that?
honestly, that turnaround by LA Thieves in that Vanguard season needs to be studied because
dude,
they were
there was no better feeling.
garbage at the beginning of the
It
season.
was literally we started from the bottom. And then now we're here. You know what? Well,
Oh, yeah.
now we have Afro and Cammy.
Whoa,
But I mean,
whoa.
What?
Be careful saying we're, man. You don't play for that team. You
Oh,
better be careful.
yeah.
actually,
doing?
I play for the Chicago Huntsmen, baby.
Are you saying you're a player for the LAT there, Jake? You better be careful with the
Nah,
words, man.
dude, you can glaze LAT all you want. If you're glazing optic, though, you're out of here. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You better watch it, buddy.
Nah, bro. As long as you're an optic fan, you can't glaze.
This is a cold take, but the CDL would be much more enjoyable with more than 12 teams in different regions. I think that's pretty fair. I mean, I'm pretty sure we all want more teams.
Yeah, I mean that's.
Oh yeah, give me more.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious at this point. I think more teams, the better. I mean, it doesn't exactly equal more competition, but it equals more opportunity, right? I mean, gives more people chances to show what they're capable of, and in a genuine, people not being biased, like. How many people watching the CDL would have known about anybody on Heretics minus Fickle if it wasn't for Miami being turned into, or Florida being turned into Miami? You ask a common CDL viewer,
True.
nobody knows who Journey is. Nobody knows who
I mean,
Lucky
they don't know
is.
anyone in Challengers other than ex-pros. Like an average viewer, I would guess.
So that's my point. I mean, these guys are clearly talented enough to compete. So there's more than likely many other people that are just as talented that can compete at the highest level. So I don't think it will necessarily make it overly competitive. Like, oh wow, it'll be the most competitive it's ever been. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying it'll give way more people a chance to showcase their talent.
Yeah, honestly, but it's also like more regions, more eyes on the COD League. More eyes, more viewers,
Valid.
more money. Expands Call of Duty. Again, we don't ever want this esport to die.
Valid.
So give me more. The more the merrier, honestly, at this point.
We'll get it.
Very good.
We'll get it in
Very
a couple
good take.
years.
Very good take.
All right. I think this is a great way to end it. It's been 2 hours and 7 minutes. Our longest show ever, by the way. But
That's
honestly,
right.
live is kind of a dub.
We may cut some part out of Preston.
Well, yeah, for the actual episode, if you're watching this in post, we cut out a lot of Preston cutting out most likely.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. I'm trying my
No,
hardest. I swear.
You're good, man. I'm telling you, I don't mind cutting it out. It really doesn't bother me.
I'm literally trying my hardest. I try something new every day.
Someone make Preston a GoFundMe and let's get him a new PC.
Facts, dude. You can have the donos from this stream. We got like $6. It's all yours.
Oh shit.
But yeah, thank you so much, Chad. I see a couple W's in chat. W pod, W episode, W for chilling. We seriously appreciate it. The support has honestly been way better than I ever would have thought starting this pod.
Yeah.
So thank you guys so much, even though y'all are roasting Shotzi and Preston and LA Thieves all chat anyway.
Yeah, that's all good. That's what I'm here for, man.
We love chat. We love all
Facts.
the takes. We love all the cold, hot opinions. That's what we're here for. Again, we just want to have a great episode, great podcast with y'all.
If you want another live one, let us know. You put it in chat. You can tweet at us too. Maybe we do another one live.
If Optic win a major this year, I will make my name on Twitter glazing season for a week straight. I promise.
Let's go.
That's
We're holding you to it. We're holding you to it.
I'll take it. I'll take it on the chin, and it'll be so worth it if Optic win a major.
Dude, to be fair, literally earlier in this episode, you said when Optic, not if, when Optic win a major. So,
well, I do genuinely believe that they will. It's hard not to. It's hard not to.
Yeah, I still believe they could.
So, I think LAT will win a major too.
Do live from now on.
Obviously. I think everyone thinks that. Dude, maybe we do these shows live from now on. I mean, I'd be down. Either way we're recording, it's just live ends up being a little longer, so it just matters on schedule, I guess.
It doesn't matter to me. I'm good with whatever. I mean, interacting with chat was pretty cool. So
yeah, I'm key with that. I mean, like, if that's what y'all want,
hey, we said it in the beginning. This is the fan pod. At the end of the day, we're just fans of COD, and you guys are fans of COD, so we just happen to be the ones on screens with the mics.
That's it.
Remember, tell your friends and tell your friends' friends, and have those friends tell your friends' friends that we're the best CDL podcast there is.
But yeah, all right, boys. Sorry, go. I was gonna say final thoughts.
I'm just saying there was no breakdown, no flank today. You know what I'm saying? Guess who was on the podcast?
Hey,
we were. You know what I'm saying? Around the CDO was here for you guys. So
grind does not stop.
No, that's it. That's it.
All right. Final words, boys, before we end it out.
Thank you guys for
Like,
the support as always. I mean, you guys are unbelievable. Everybody that was in here chatting, commenting the live, giving us something to talk about. You guys are goats. Thank you for being cool, asking really nice questions. We didn't have to time anybody out or do anything over the top. You guys are all super cool. Everybody that's watching on YouTube in post, like Jake said, shout out you guys. Major one was a banger. I'm hoping a lot of other majors are like the same. So that's all I got. Until next time. I'll say go optic, but we got a while before the next matches, which kind of sucks. So a
we got
partial go,
18 days.
partial go optic.
You'll have another chance to say it again before the match.
Yeah, I will. I
Um,
will.
I mean, again, as Preston pretty much said it all clearly. I mean, shout out to everyone that's either if you're watching here, if you're watching on YouTube, if you're just listening on Spotify. Shout out to all the love and support. You know, we really appreciate it. We truly do this for y'all, but we also do it because we love talking about COD. And without y'all, this would not be possible. So shout out to everyone, you know, listening, whether you're around the world, in space, wherever you are. You can be on Saturn. I don't care. I just appreciate all the love and support. But yeah, I'll see y'all. You know, matches start in 18 days, so I have to figure something out to do with my life until then.
Yeah, definitely. I listen. W of an episode. W fan base. W people that are watching this. It's super sick to talk COD with other people.
It is.
And exactly as the boy said, we seriously appreciate the support, and hopefully we'll see you all in episode 8 of Around the CDL. So
Go.
have a good one.
Peace.